How long should games actually be supported? 3 years? 5 years? Maybe a console generation? It's a real shame when a great game falls into disarray. I'm sure you can think of many, but this goes far deeper than people flying around the map with God mode. It's about security. But I believe the developers, and especially the publishers, should be held responsible to go back and fix major issues that are plaguing these games. What's important to mention here is some of these issues aren't platform specific, and that these issues have real world effects that need to be communicated to players so that they are made aware that there is an issue, especially if the servers for those games are still online and the game is being sold. Just a couple of examples I can think of off the top of my head are the ongoing situations with the Call of Duty and Titanfall games. If you're not aware, the Call of Duty titles before Black Ops 3 are mainly the ones that are affected. Simply by playing online, you're opening yourself up to having your personal information stolen. And there have been reports that hackers have been gaining remote access to players' systems, allowing malware to spread. Many streamers and YouTubers have brought to light and voiced their concerns about these problems. And to the best of my knowledge, Activision have been, for the most part, silent and hasn't commented about them. So if you're a person who doesn't keep up with gaming news, you would have absolutely no idea there's even a problem. Believe it or not, when it was recently announced that in 2025 COD would be coming to Game Pass, players noticed that the servers for the older games seemed to be fixed, which saw a huge boost in new and returning players to these nostalgic titles. So clearly the demand to play these old games is there. This came shortly after Activision sent cease and desist letters to two popular modded clients that were safe to play, which is a whole nother issue in and of itself. But kudos to Activision and Microsoft for fixing the servers on Xbox, but there's still a lot of issues that need to be a priority. When I was making my video about game exploits, typically I would go back to those games and record footage, but I didn't want to take the chance with this situation, so I opted to use old footage I had sitting on a hard drive. Treyarch released a patch for Black Ops 3 on PC about 6 months ago, in which they tried to tackle several significant security vulnerabilities, and it didn't take long for that patch to be circumvented, and other RCE exploit methods, or RATs, were discovered and are being abused. If you'd like to learn all about the current situation with what's going on with Black Ops 3 on PC, I highly recommend that you check out this video by Jason H Gaming, which goes into great detail to catch you up. It will be linked in the description if you'd like to check it out. The Titanfall games have had a well-documented history when it comes to server security issues. The original Titanfall was targeted by a hacker who created a program that would fill lobbies with bots populating all the game's servers. Hackers have effectively hijacked both Titanfall games using DDoS attacks, which has seen many streamers and content creators alike being targeted and added to a block list, preventing them from playing. Hey, Future Violent Gene here. There have been some recent developments. When I was researching for this video, I came across a video that Moki Sniper had released, with the great news that Titanfall 2 is back and now in a playable state for the first time in years. Also came across a couple of Reddit posts claiming the same thing, so if this is indeed true, I tip my hat to Respawn and their team for working on a fix. And while I got you here for a minute, if you enjoy these sort of videos, maybe consider subscribing. That way you'll be the first to see the videos when they release. Now back to the video. Players as of now have migrated to Northstar, which is a modded client, allowing players to play the game in a safer way. Apex Legends would also be targeted. When players logged in, they saw that the playlist had been replaced with a banner redirecting to savetitanfall.com, which saw many devs forced to take time away from their families and scramble to address the breach. With these two game franchises, it's a very complex situation, if my understanding is correct. It's because these games are built upon outdated infrastructure, so these issues are complicated to say the least. It is indeed that outdated infrastructure which is clearly being taken advantage of. We have to keep in mind that the publishers that own these games are making record profits, so hiring a team to be assigned to not only alert players, but to fix these situations is the appropriate thing to do. So what's the answer? I'm just a guy on the internet, and I'm approaching this from a player point of view. By no means am I a game developer, or have the expertise to grasp the complex issues on the back end. But here are some suggestions. There's a couple of things that need to happen. These issues need to be addressed publicly, and players deserve to be made aware that it's actually happening. Not just a blog post or a tweet, but an update that goes live in these titles, clearly communicating that the game is compromised. I know what you're thinking, but in Activision's terms of use, it clearly states that the product is provided as is, and Activision does not warrant that the product will be uninterrupted or error-free, that defects will be corrected, that the product is free of viruses or harmful components. This means that Activision does not promise that they will work perfectly, or that they will always be there for you. But I think it's beyond reasonable for them not to turn a blind eye here, all because we live in an age where cybersecurity threats exist and need to be treated seriously. Action needs to happen in the face of these vulnerabilities to protect players and not allowing them to be put at risk. But as much as it would pain me to even suggest this, if these publishers aren't going to allow devs to address these issues, why should they be allowed to continue to sell them? And should services like Steam, Xbox, and PlayStation also bear some of the blame? Should these games have been taken down off their stores until the appropriate measure was taken? Well, that's my piece on the matter. It's sad to see you can't go back and play these games safely. I know I'm itching to go back and play some custom zombies on Black Ops 3, but until the appropriate steps have been taken, and I'm assured that it's safe, these games will be gathering dust in my game library. So I'll ask you the question, how long should games be supported? Drop your thoughts in the comments. All sources are linked in the description, and there's some bonus reading material if you feel inclined. If you want to learn the tactics used to make you spend more money in free-to-play games, check out this video right here. As always, look alive, you're on in 5. Later, guys.